and death shall have no dominion. Dead men naked, they shall be one with the man in the wind and the west moon. When their bones are picked clean and the clean bones gone, they shall have stars at elbow and foot. Though they go mad, they shall be sane. Though they sink through the sea, they shall rise again. Though lovers be lost, love shall not, and death shall have no dominion. And death shall have no dominion. Under the windings of the sea, they lying long shall not die windily, twisting on racks when sinners give way, strapped to a wheel, yet they shall not break. Faith in their hands they shall snap in two, and the unicorn evils run them through. Split all ends up, they shan't crack, and death shall have no dominion. And death shall have no dominion. No more may gulls cry at their ears, or waves break loud on the seashores. Where blew a flower, may a flower no more lift its head to the blows of the rain. Though they be mad and dead as nails, heads of the characters hammer through daisies, break in the sun till the sun breaks down, and death shall have no dominion.
When I was about 16 years old, and this is on 41st Street in Lincoln, Nebraska, and there was a big field next to our house. I went out and I was looking at the sky at night. It was in the summertime, and suddenly I ceased to be where I was, and I became part of the stars. That is, I had a feeling of being drawn in by the light of a star, and becoming a part of the universe, and becoming part of the whole. I've wondered what this feeling was. It was a mystical experience. It was a real experience. It's probably the most memorable and deepest experience I had in my life. How does one interpret this? Is it some kind of a neurological thing that brought this deep feeling of oneness with the universe, or was it something else? Was it something metaphysical? In general, I don't like, as a professional scientist, I don't like bringing in metaphysical things, that is beyond physics, beyond what we can see and touch and verify. But in this case, in the most influential experience of my life, I have to put a metaphysical story to it, and that is, I actually became part of the universe. And being part of the universe, I interpreted this in various ways through the years, so that at some point I had a feeling that everything, all that is physical, all that is in our experience is in God, and everything is in God. It may not be true. Other people may not accept it, and I cannot bring any evidence to justify it. It's just something that I have. So, but it is with me, and it is probably the most influential and the most defining 30 minutes of my life. I had when I was 16 years old, lying on my back in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Dale Alan Gillette was born March 24th, 1943, to Francis Joseph Gillette, a barrel-chested sailor turned limerick-wielding funny man, and Julia Philomena Gushak, a second-generation Polish farm girl with a penchant for the opera. He was my favorite guy in any direction. He was kind and genuinely sweet. He was complex, precise, and unrelentingly dedicated to the truth. He loved nothing more than to laugh, and he was insanely ridiculous. He was intellectually adventurous. He was profoundly curious. He was the foundational rock of my multi-marriaged and outlandish family. He was a mystical philosopher king. He was loving, and he was love itself. He was damaged and tortured by the wrongs of traditional Catholicism's cruel and unwavering notions of hell that were enforced upon him throughout his childhood. He was an almost literal magnet for animals and a comforting and secure presence to all children. He was a very dear and close friend all my life. He was a dedicated enthusiast of the poetry and prose of Dylan Thomas, as well as the writings of Ralph Waldo Emerson, John Shelby Spong, Ken Wilber, Baruch Spinoza, Hermann Hesse, Will Durant, and many, many others. He was a dreamer, with his mind lost in the stars. He was an internationally renowned expert Aeolian scientist with over 100 published papers and over 10,000 bibliographical citations. He spent his career specializing in the study of so-called desertification and what happens when dust particulate matter erodes and shoots up into the atmosphere and how it affects both the environment at large and human health. First for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in Boulder, Colorado, and then starting in 1993 for the Environmental Protection Agency in the Research Triangle Park in North Carolina. And he was a loving, present, and dedicated husband to his wife, Jane Ashbull Noble Gillette. And he was a brilliant, supportive, loving, and compassionate father to his children, Kimberly, Robin, Franklin, and myself, Jonny. He was a man of peace, love, and equality. He had a tremendous booming laugh that could be heard from a football field away. Wherever he went, his smile and his warmth followed. Frowns were turned upside down, giving everyone around him a little sparkle of his cosmic goodness, gentle decency, and humanity. His loss is incalculable, agonizing, and potent as poison. And the memory of him is unforgettable. Around 2008, when my father was beginning to notice the early onset symptoms of dementia creeping over his mind like a sadistic, unrelenting raven's claw, he let us know. And being the scientist and philosopher that he was, he documented his sensations in what I can only describe as agonizing detail. When I became aware of his Alzheimer's disease starting its hateful and incurable path of destruction, I felt it necessary to capture the man I knew and loved dearly, the best way I knew how, with my little movie camera and a microphone. The following interviews were filmed with Dale in his home office in 2006 and 2009.
From about the age of something like 10, I wanted to be a scientist. I started out in astronomy, thinking that that would be the most interesting and profitable in every way. I mean, profitable for the world and satisfying for me. I'm not talking about money here. I found in college that I didn't have the interest at the level that I thought I did. I misplaced it. And I got into more of an applied science and in atmospheric science, and I stayed there, and I really enjoyed it. And I think I put a brick or two in the building of science. I think I feel most free when I am thinking about things like I am, like you're asking me to right now. I just love thinking about philosophical and theological and scientific subjects. Some similarity of this feeling comes when I'm walking in the woods, or doing things that are where I'm not obliged to be practically concerning myself with making money or doing tasks or carrying out the garbage or whatever. But it's these moments, the moments that I treasure the most.
What do you want people to think about you once your time on this earth is kind of come and gone? How do you want to be remembered?
Oh, wow. Well, I don't know if I'm so interested in that as to how do I measure up to my own expectations and desires for myself. And that is one of the things I want to do is to do the best work that I can and to find something truthful and to do and something useful. And that's what my scientific career was about. Truthful, that is, done with integrity and truthfulness and with some skill such that something new would be found and could well be useful. Mm-hmm. And then if I do that, it doesn't make too much difference what other people think about me. It's what I think about myself, measuring myself to a certain level. But on the other hand, I don't want to be disliked. I'd like to be liked. But on the other hand, I don't need to be popular. Have I done the right thing? Have I done something useful? Have I worked up to my ability? And have I hurt anybody? And I want the answer to be no on that one. Have I given some love? And I think the answer is yes on that one. And have I given some light, kindness, and love to others? I think I want that. Now, the kind of person I am, which is not especially extroverted, is such that I'm not going to be reaching a large number of people. And so I think that I would have to say that my expectation is that I would like to meet certain standards of decency, productivity, integrity, and maybe some insight that maybe wouldn't have been found. It might have been found by somebody else, but I got to it first. So I delivered something. I delivered something to the world that it might not have gotten. It may well have gotten it from plenty of other people, but I got there first. So they didn't have to do that. They were privileged to go and do something else. So I was productive in a certain way, and I've done some good for some people, and I've been kind to others, but I haven't done, as far as I know, I haven't done harm to anybody. I hope that I haven't. And I've loved several people very greatly. And I think those people will be better off for that, and they'll be able to re-radiate that to others. And that's sort of it for me.
Do you consider yourself a happy individual?
Oh, indeed. I really do. The happiest life is the fullest life, full of good experiences, full of trying to do things and maybe not succeeding, and sometimes failing, sometimes succeeding. I think to have a happy life, you have to have a number of successes there. You can't have all failures, but failures are part of it. Failures teach you lessons that you need to know. Maybe that's not the thing for you to do. And I've had plenty of those. Not everything works. Tried doing things that I thought would work out well, but my abilities were not matching the requirements that were needed to bring about a success. So that's just a lesson. You don't do that. When you don't come up with a success that doesn't lead to unhappiness. It just leads to redoing your plans for the future. If at first you don't succeed, rewrite your plans. The try again, that doesn't work. And now I have to say goodbye. And I'd like to say goodbye by borrowing a little part of a movie that is really one of my favorite movies. It's called Siddhartha. And in this movie, Siddhartha is a man from India, and he has a number of adventures in his life. But he ends up as a sort of a humble ferryman. And his great teacher was a man named Vasudeva, who was a ferryman, and who had taught Siddhartha the unity of nature and all the important lessons of his life. In this movie, this Vasudeva is getting very old now, and he's finished his time on Earth, and he comes to Siddhartha and says,
Siddhartha, we have traveled a long way on this river. I'm old now. I can't work anymore. Now it's time for me to go. But we will meet again. And remember, nothing remains the same. Everything changes. And everything returns. কোথায় তোমার দেশ, তোমার নেই কি চলার শেষ, ও নদী রে। একুল ভেঙে ওকুল।
Now it's time for me to go. But we will meet again. And remember, everything changes. Nothing remains the same. And everything returns. ভাবছো মিছেই পর তোমার নাই কি অবসর।
If I ever left my house without my walking stick, well, it would be something I could never explain. Or the thing that makes me clear on Lover's Lane would go for naught if I were caught without my cane.